What if I told you that the secret to regaining muscle strength after age 60 isn't in a crowded gym or expensive supplements, but hidden in your morning cup of coffee? It may sound unbelievable, but that's exactly what recent studies have revealed, something that even Harvard researchers found surprising. A groundbreaking 2024 study conducted by the University of Okinawa followed 5,000 adults over 60 years of age for 7 years. The results were impressive. Those who added 8 specific ingredients to their breakfast increased their muscle mass by an impressive 47%, while the group that did not change their habits lost an average of 3% of muscle mass per year. No, you didn't read that wrong. We're talking about gaining strength at an age when science generally says that muscles only decrease. The most surprising ingredient on the list is so common you probably already have it at home. It's capable of triggering the production of myokines at levels up to 300% higher than conventional resistance training. In Okinawa, seniors between 80 and 90 years old use this combination to care for their grandchildren, climb stairs, and maintain their independence, while many of their peers in Western countries need walkers or help with simple tasks. The researchers were so intrigued that they repeated the study 3 times, confirming the results. When they analyzed the blood samples, they discovered that these coffee drinkers showed inflammatory markers typical of people 20 years younger. And the final ingredient, which I saved for last, costs less than $1 and can be added to coffee in just 10 seconds. In 12 weeks, grip strength, one of the main indicators of longevity, increased by 62%. Imagine what that means: opening jars at 85 without help, or maintaining autonomy in daily tasks even at 70. Before we continue, I'd like you to comment on your age and where you're watching from. I read and respond to all comments with personalized tips. I'm Dr. Anna Laura, and today we're going to discover what's stealing your strength, and, more importantly, how to get it back. Let's start with number 8, ground chia seeds. Let me tell you the story of Margaret, a 72-year-old retired teacher in Kyoto who could no longer climb the stairs to her room. Her daughter was looking for assisted living when Margaret discovered this ingredient. 6 weeks later, she was not only climbing the stairs on her own, but also carrying baskets of laundry. The secret? 2 teaspoons of ground chia seeds in her breakfast. But why is this so powerful? After age 60, our bodies enter a state called anabolic resistance. Basically, the muscles become deaf to the signals that tell them to grow. It's like receiving calls on a cell phone in silent mode. You see that a call has come in, but nothing happens. Ground chia seeds contain a unique combination of omega-3 fatty acids that restore this cellular communication. The Journal of Aging Research showed that older adults who consumed ground chia daily reduced their inflammatory markers by 43% in just 8 weeks. But there's a critical mistake that 90% of people make when using chia seeds, and that can compromise all these benefits. Many people eat chia seeds whole, thinking they're already reaping the benefits. The problem is that, this way, they pass through the digestive system almost intact, like small balls of food, and little is absorbed. The secret is to grind them. You can use a coffee grinder for a few seconds, or opt for the pre-ground version. When ground chia seeds come into contact with hot coffee, a powerful transformation occurs. Alpha-linolenic acid, one of the most potent natural anti-inflammatories, is released. This happens inside the cells, where the magic really happens. Over time, our muscle receptors become blocked by inflammatory residues. Think of them as rusty locks. The omega-3s in chia seeds act like a WD-40, cleaning these receptors so that the signals that stimulate muscle growth can flow normally again. To get the most benefit, add 2 teaspoons to your coffee, stir well, and wait about 60 seconds before drinking. You'll notice the drink becomes a little thicker. That's the soluble fiber in action, stabilizing blood sugar and preventing insulin spikes that can break down muscle tissue. If you've never consumed ground chia before, start with 1 teaspoon. Some people experience digestive changes initially, but this is a good sign. It means the gut microbiome is adjusting, something that directly impacts protein synthesis in muscles. Now, let's move on to number 7, pure, unsweetened cocoa. It sounds too indulgent to be an ally for muscle strength, but the results speak for themselves. Richard, a 74-year-old veteran from Nagoya, had given up his morning walks because his legs felt like concrete. The doctor said it was poor circulation and prescribed medication with terrible side effects. That's when Richard discovered a common practice among centenarians in Okinawa, adding pure cocoa to his breakfast. 3 weeks later, he was walking 5 kilometers daily and his wife noticed he was more agile, confident, and had fluid movements. The secret lies in the flavonoids present in cocoa. With aging, blood vessels lose flexibility, becoming stiff like a hose exposed to the sun. This reduces the flow of oxygen and nutrients to the muscles, accelerating weakness and fatigue. Flavonoids relax and dilate the vessels, restoring blood flow. A Harvard study with 500 adults over 60 showed that those who consumed cocoa flavonoids daily increased blood flow to their muscles by 31%. But the surprise came in strength tests. There was a 40% improvement in grip strength and a 28% improvement in performance in seated exercises. What this teaches us is profound. Muscle loss doesn't depend solely on the muscles, but also on the system that feeds them. To obtain these benefits, simply add a tablespoon of pure, unsweetened cocoa powder to your coffee. No ready-made mixes or chocolate syrups, just pure cocoa. The bitter taste of cocoa is actually a sign that the flavonoids are at work. Mix well, because it can form lumps in hot liquids. Some people stir the coffee for about 10 seconds to ensure the powder is evenly distributed. Furthermore, the combination of caffeine from coffee with the theobromine from cocoa creates an effect that scientists call synergistic stimulation. Caffeine gives an immediate energy boost, while theobromine maintains alertness smoothly, without jitters. This dual action means that your muscles receive constant signals to stay active throughout the day, preventing sedentary behavior that accelerates age-related muscle loss, known as sarcopenia. We've reached number 6, MCT oil, or coconut oil. This is an ingredient that has completely changed how we understand energy and aging. Nancy, a 69-year-old woman from Tokyo, hadn't been able to tend her garden for 2 years. Her muscles would simply give out after 10 minutes of activity. It was her son, a nutritionist, who suggested adding MCT oil to her coffee, following a traditional practice of centuries-old farmers in rural Japan. A month later, Nancy was spending 3 hours tending her garden, and her neighbors couldn't believe her renewed energy. The secret lies in how muscles receive fuel. After 60, muscles not only shrink, they starve because glucose, once the primary source of energy, can't reach them due to insulin resistance. It's like trying to refuel a car with a clogged fuel line. MCT oil provides an alternative fuel, ketones. They completely bypass this problem and directly nourish the muscles. A study published in International Journal of Molecular Sciences studies have shown that older people who incorporated MCT oil into their diet increased their muscle endurance by 58% without needing extra exercise. Ketones provide immediate energy that lasts for hours, without the typical spikes and crashes of sugar. To reap the benefits, add a teaspoon of MCT oil or virgin coconut oil to your coffee, starting slowly to avoid digestive discomfort. MCT is more concentrated and potent, while coconut oil is a milder option for beginners. It's not just about providing energy, it's about protecting muscles. With adequate fuel, muscles stop breaking down their own tissues for energy, a process called muscle catabolism, which intensifies dramatically after age 60 when glucose metabolism fails. The use of ketones facilitates this transition, from muscle breakdown to preservation and strengthening. Before we continue, if this information is already transforming your perspective on health and energy, click like so more people can discover these truths. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our daily updates on health in later life, things your doctor often doesn't tell you. Now, let's move on to number 5, collagen powder. Number 5 focuses on the hidden structure that keeps the entire body functioning. Patricia, a 71-year-old nurse from Osaka, had always taken care of her health, but couldn't understand why her joints creaked like old boards, and her muscles seemed disconnected from her bones. That's when she discovered collagen powder, a common practice among elderly Japanese people in longevity centers. 2 months later, Patricia was back to teaching dance, something she thought she had left behind forever. After age 60, our bodies produce about 75% less collagen. And don't think it's just for skin. Collagen is the scaffolding that connects muscles to bones and protects joints. Without it, muscle strength isn't transmitted efficiently. It's like having a powerful engine with worn-out transmission cables. A study from the University of Freiburg showed that older people who consumed collagen powder increased their muscle mass by 15% and their strength by 20%, compared to those who only exercised. The secret lies in the specific amino acids present in collagen, such as glycine and proline, which activate muscle protein synthesis at the genetic level. To take advantage of this, Add a tablespoon, about 10 guri, of hydrolyzed collagen to your coffee. It dissolves completely, and the heat of the drink helps break down the proteins, increasing absorption by up to 40% compared to cold liquids. What most doctors don't realize is that muscle loss and joint pain are connected. When your joints hurt, you move less. When you move less, your muscles weaken. Collagen supplements break this cycle, simultaneously rebuilding cartilage and muscle tissue, treating the entire system, not just the symptoms. We've reached number 4, milk or fortified soy milk. It may seem contradictory, given so much controversy surrounding dairy products, but Thomas, a 77-year-old engineer from Kobe, had his life transformed by it. He had avoided milk for years, believing it wasn't healthy. Meanwhile, his muscles continued to atrophy, even though he consumed plenty of protein. Everything changed when he discovered leucine, the key amino acid for activating muscle protein synthesis. Just 60 milliliters of whole milk in his coffee provided enough leucine to flip the switch on muscle growth. 6 weeks later, Thomas had gained 2 kilos of lean mass. What the anti-dairy movement doesn't tell you is that milk contains the highest concentration of leucine of any natural food. It's not just another amino acid. Leucine is the specific trigger that tells muscles to start developing. After age 60, about 3 g of leucine per meal is needed to overcome anabolic resistance, almost twice what younger people need. A study by American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. A study followed 800 elderly people and found that those who consumed dairy protein maintained 40% more muscle mass over 3 years compared to those who avoided dairy products. The leucine present in milk acts directly on something called mTOR, the master switch of muscle growth, which becomes increasingly resistant with age. To take advantage of this effect, add 60 to 90 ml of whole milk or fortified soy milk to your breakfast. The fat in whole milk helps with leucine absorption, while soy milk offers an equally effective alternative for those with lactose intolerance. This small addition provides about 0.8 g of leucine, a significant contribution to the daily requirement. Timing is also important. After an overnight fast, muscles are more receptive to leucine signals. By including milk in your coffee, you immediately transform the body's catabolic state, the one that breaks down muscle overnight, into an anabolic state, initiating muscle building early in the day. Number 3, whey protein powder. This is the ingredient that professional athletes have used for decades, but that older people need even more. Susan, 68, in Hiroshima, had lost so much strength that she needed her husband's help even to open jars of preserves. Her physiotherapist told her that in Japanese nursing homes, it's now common to add whey protein to morning drinks. Susan was skeptical, thinking that protein powder was something for bodybuilders. But she decided to try it, and 8 weeks later she was opening jars on her own and seeing definition in her arms for the first time in 20 years. Whey protein is the fastest absorbing protein in the world, reaching the muscles in about 20 minutes. After age 60, our digestive system loses efficiency in breaking down proteins. You can eat a chicken breast, but you'll only absorb about 40% of the protein. Whey protein is practically pre-digested, allowing the body to utilize almost 100% of it immediately. A study from the University of Birmingham showed that older adults need about 40 grams of protein per meal to achieve the same muscle synthesis that younger people achieve with 20 grams. Therefore, adding 20 to 25 grams of whey protein to breakfast provides a concentrated dose exactly when muscles need it most. Opt for unflavored whey isolate and mix a scoop into coffee for 15 seconds, or use a milk frother to avoid lumps. Another option is to make a paste with the powder and a little room temperature water before adding it to hot coffee. This simple addition can increase daily protein intake by up to 25%, without needing to eat more. For those with a poor appetite, it's a game changer. Pharmaceutical-grade nutrition incorporated into the morning routine. Number 2, cinnamon. This ancient spice, now validated by modern science, is a true muscle protector. Robert, a 75-year-old diabetic in Yokohama, was rapidly losing muscle mass, something common when blood sugar levels are consistently high. Robert's endocrinologist had suggested that cinnamon might help him, but he dismissed the idea as just a popular belief, until one day he saw his neighbor, an 82-year-old man who looked 60, adding cinnamon to his coffee every morning. Robert decided to follow suit. In just 2 weeks, his blood sugar levels stabilized, and within 2 months, he had regained 2.7 kg of muscle mass without making any further changes to his routine. High blood glucose levels are like poison for muscles. When glucose circulates in excess, it triggers a massive release of insulin, the hormone that signals fat storage and blocks muscle building. Furthermore, excess glucose forms inflammatory compounds that directly destroy muscle tissue, as if the muscles were being corroded from the inside. Ceylon cinnamon contains compounds that mimic the action of insulin, but without the harmful effects on muscles. A study published in Journal of Diabetes Research Studies have shown that just half a teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon per day reduced blood glucose by 24% and insulin by 18%. This effect creates the perfect environment for preserving and building muscle. Add half a teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon to your coffee, either before brewing or mixed into the cup. Do not use common cassia cinnamon, which can be toxic in large quantities. The heat of the coffee activates the active compounds, especially cinnamaldehyde, which increases glucose absorption by the muscles by up to 20 times. By controlling sugar spikes, you eliminate one of the biggest enemies of muscle mass after age 60. Your muscles can finally access nutrients properly and stop being eroded by the inflammatory compounds of glucose. Number 1. Turmeric with black pepper. This is the ingredient that changes everything we thought about aging and muscle loss. Researchers at Tokyo Medical University consider this combination the most significant anti-aging discovery of the decade. Kendi, an 84-year-old carpenter in Okinawa, works all day while many of his colleagues struggle even to walk. His secret? Every morning, for 40 years, he has added turmeric and black pepper to his coffee, a tradition passed down through generations. Tests showed that his muscle mass and strength levels were similar to those of someone 30 years younger, and his inflammatory markers were almost undetectable. Chronic inflammation is the true cause of muscle loss after age 60. With age, the immune system becomes overactive and constantly produces cytokines, inflammatory compounds that directly attack muscle tissue. It's like having a fire burning inside your muscles 24 hours a day. This inflammation blocks muscle repair, accelerates breakdown, and prevents the growth of new muscle. Turmeric contains curcumin, the most potent natural anti-inflammatory compound known to science. But there's a crucial secret. Curcumin alone is poorly absorbed, with less than 3% reaching the bloodstream. Adding just a pinch of black pepper, which contains piperine, increases absorption by an impressive 2,000%. This is no exaggeration. It has been documented in hundreds of studies. A study published in British Journal of Nutrition. The study followed 500 elderly people for 2 years. Those who took turmeric with black pepper daily experienced 47% less muscle loss, 62% more grip strength, and surprisingly, gained an average of 1.3 kilos of muscle. Without exercise, tests showed a reduction in inflammation throughout the body, not just in the muscles. Add half a teaspoon of turmeric and a pinch, about 1/8 teaspoon, of black pepper to your coffee. Some people worry about the taste, but when mixed with the other coffee ingredients, it creates a rich and complex combination, reminiscent of chai. The combination should be taken together. The piperine in the pepper prevents the liver from breaking down the curcumin before it can act. Within 3 weeks, most people notice a reduction in joint pain and less morning stiffness. Within 8 weeks, gains in muscle strength become measurable. By 12 weeks, the changes are visible: better posture, greater ease of movement, and increased endurance.